Greetings, I am Wham Bam Duel, and welcome to my explanation of Spell Commander's latest deck profile, the modern Yuya Sakaki. I highly recommend watching his video first, as this one is meant to go more in-depth with some of the choices made when creating this deck. Starting off with the monsters, I'll cover the base outline I had. Naturally, I had to include Odd Eye's Pendulum Dragon, Stargazer, and Timegazer Magician, as they were Yuya's original 3 Pendulum monsters. Next, I wanted to make sure I included all 4 Dimension Dragon Pendulum Magicians. Zhang Ke and Zhang Sheng were also musts, as they were how Yuma made Odd Eye's Rebellion and Raging Dragon in the anime. Since this is a list from after Arc 5, and in the TCG, Zark now has a redeemed counterpart, the Graph Sorcerers, Supreme King Gates, Darkworm, and Lightworm are musts, since Yuya now has all of Zark's powers. The rest of the monsters must be some combination of Odd Eyes, Magician, and Performapal Pendulum monsters. The specific reason that Duelist Extraordinaire is here is because it not only synergizes with the Supreme King support, but its effect also directly references action cards, meaning I don't have to use the action magic quick play spells. To clarify Tuning Magician's position in this deck, when Harmonizing Magician is the obviously better retrain, Odd Eye's Winged Dragon specifically requires a Dark Tuner and a non-tuner Clear Wing monster, which of course would be the level 7 Synchro Dragon, meaning that a Dark level 1 tuner is required here. Odd Eye's Synchron can help a Performapal or Odd Eye's monster become a level 1 tuner, but even then, it has a really bad pendulum scale for this deck, so I wanted another good level 1 Dark Tuner to help make that monster, and the only one that really fit the bill was Tuning Magician. I'm not going to go over every pendulum monster that's not on this list, because there are far too many Odd Eyes monsters, Pendulum Magicians, and Performapal monsters, some of who are just bad. To speak on some of the cards that aren't as bad, there's stuff like Odd Eye's Revolution Dragon, as well as the other Odd Eye's extra deck monsters not featured in this list, such as Vortex, Meteor Burst, and Absolute Dragon. It should be established that this list, and other lists for these profiles, are meant to focus on anime versions of the Duelist. Only when specific cards are extra iconic, like Terra Firma for Jaden, or Utopia the Lightning for Yuma, or when we need to fill out more cards for the extra deck, do we go towards manga exclusive cards. This deck is more meant to be able to access each Dimension Dragon, as well as their Odd Eyes counterparts, as well as summoning any version of Supreme King Zark, and other anime-exclusive boss monsters such as Nirvana High Paladin. With the spells, it was obvious that we had to start off with Polymerization, Odd Eyes Fusion, and Odd Eyes Advent. Sky Iris seemed like the most obvious field spell choice for the deck, and since Yuma has a lot of relation to the Smile World card, I knew I should run the retrain, Smile Universe, even if it's not super great. I figured that the rest of the cards should either be pendulum spells that can be searched with Duelist Alliance, or Supreme King support. The reason I'm not running Spiral Flame Strike is because aside from the God card related ones, I'm trying to avoid running the cards that are just a monster's attack name slapped on a card. The Performapal back row is nothing to write home about. And even though Yuya did use the Hippo cards a lot, I don't think anyone's going to be sad that Super Hippo Carnival got left out. With the traps, I mostly just wanted the redeemed Supreme King cards, and a couple of pendulum traps to be searched with Duelist Alliance. Since Performapals are easily the least represented archetype in the main deck, I figured I could toss a good helping of them into the side deck, along with the Supreme King Dragon corruptions of the Dimension Dragons, the original Zark, and Zark Synchro Universe. The included Performapals are meant to be a combination of classic Yuya monsters like the Hippos and Trump Witch, along with some of the better ones like Lizard Draw and Pendulum Sorcerer. Naturally, Celestial Magician is here because it's literally just Zark as a monster card, in all of his monster energy flavored glory. As Spell Commander said in the video, the banned Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom can easily be swapped out for Wisdom Eye Magician if you're looking to avoid playing banned cards. I briefly touched on the extra deck earlier, but to circle back, my goals with it were: include each Dimension Dragon, include each Odd Eyes version of each Dimension Dragon, include the Pendulum Link monsters because Yuya absolutely needs them for his deck to function in a modern format, include Odd Eyes Arc Ray Dragon, the Redeemed Zark, include Nirvana High Paladin, include a second Dark Rebellion and Odd Eyes combination to show that Yuya had a stronger bond with Yuto than any of the other counterparts, and include other monsters from Yuya's journey, which turned out to be exactly 15, so there was no room to include many of the manga exclusives. I'm willing to admit that a lot of good cards were left off this list, but hopefully this list is able to present a deck that is as authentically Yuya as it can be, along with some of the modern support sprinkled in. Until next time, I've been Wham Bam Duel, and I'm always happy to see you.